Peace. I give y'all salutes if y'all watching this video, family, because consistency is everything, y'all. Participation is all, you know. If you're one of those people who was always absent or you never went to school as much, well, you can't relate because everything takes consistency. Everything takes, you know, not simple stagnation, but adversity and patience. And I give y'all this video because I'm trying to help y'all. You know, I can't help everybody, and that's not the goal. You know, I'm not trying to help you if you don't want my help. That's your loss, you know what I'm saying? And that's your loss because, you know, to have someone like myself or just a chosen one in your vicinity is straight diamond in the rough because, you know, people are gonna have all eyes on you, man. You know, Tupac was in line when he said that shit, man. All eyes on me. You know, that's a real thing, yo. You're just gonna have not even people, but animals, you know, plants. Everything that's defined as you will be there for you, as to protect you, and as to be there as if they were not in a way worshiping you, but standing with you, because you're attuned to the realm, to the planet, to the plane, you know. And you know, it doesn't take one thing. It doesn't take, you know, a simple, you know, home run to win the game. You must constantly hit them hoes if you want to win or be somebody known, you know. And that's just like we're making videos, family. You got to make these videos every day because somebody's watching them and somebody's taking in the gems so they can become the gemstone, you know. Not everybody's, you know, born with light because they end up losing it, or they end up losing their selves, man, because of the shit that was implanted around them to program their brains differently, you know. And people who watch me, or let's just say, you know, while I'm driving around traffic, yeah, people, you know, it's not that they're impressed, but they're like, damn, man, a youngin in a car like this, man. I wish that was me because, you know, I was the same way, you know. You know, I used to look at people who drive cars like these and I always wanted to be in them or always see myself in them, right? Well, now that you have them, y'all, you're just an inspiration. You're a walking inspiration, y'all, because people, they can't fathom on how the fuck you got it or you did it. But that's because, like I say, you worked your ass off, man. In the silence, when no one was watching you, you went through grit, you went through adversity, you went through a period of homeostasis, man, to where you left everything in the fucking past that didn't serve you. Because it ain't gonna serve you, family. You know, everything is like, think of yourself as a car and you need to get washed. As if you were taking your car to the car wash, man. Where you're washing off all those problems, or you should be washing all those problems off and becoming that shiny light bulb you came down here to be, because there's no greater feeling than acting out of your true self, man. Because no one can say who you are, man. The only thing they can do is literally, you know, talk bad about you because they're not someone as you, or they wish they could be you, but they just will never be you. Because while you found patience, while you found peace and solitude, and while you became something, you know, everybody else was partying, everybody else was getting fucked, or everybody else was drinking, everybody else was just, you know, focused on this bullshit, yo. When you know, you heard God when He was chosen you, you know. And that's power, family, because you're not someone who just answered the call, but you're steadily fulfilling, you know, the role that He has put you down here to be. So be somebody, family. Do it for you, do it for God, and do it for your last name, because the ancestors that came down here before, you know, and planted you with that last name for a reason. Don't let that last name go in vain. Make sure that last name is known to the world, or to, you know, the whole fucking globe, if you want to say, because, you know, that's how you keep your family living. That's how you stay, you know, as someone who was always remembered, man. You know, and the goal to be remembered is to be yourself, man, and to keep hustling. You gotta hustle, family. you don't hustle, you don't want it bad enough. I'm a hustler, you know, before I found myself, y'all, I used to be in the trap selling. And that's not someone to say you should be proud of that or you should follow my footsteps. If you're there, can't be there forever, family, you know? So that's what I say, family. You want to be somebody. You want to be somebody. And if you're not somebody, I'm in the root chakra. Well, then, you know, that's where most people are at, y'all. That's where they are at, in that lower nature. But to get out of that root, man, you must build your energy up. You must work on self, man. You must keep going. That's how you win in this game. That's how you beat somebody. That's what gives you the strength, you know? Self-belief is all, family. You want to believe in yourself because nobody's going to have your back when you go to bed at night. You know, you're probably sleeping alone on that pillow. And you have all the time in the world to think about what you want to be. So why not work hard to be that? Who can take it away? Nobody. The only person who can is you. Because you're the only person that sees, like I say, tunnel vision. So it's up to you, family. It's really up to you. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's never going to be easy. But if you can handle the problems that people throw at you, y'all, well, you're going to win every time. Because you're not worrying about people. You're worrying about your mission. The mission you came down here to fulfill is all. And I'm trying to help y'all, family. I can't force y'all to be somebody. But if I push out videos every day and show y'all what consistency is, maybe some people will take it and run with it, you know, family? And that's me fulfilling my purpose, you know? So, you know, I was once at my root. I was once in that root chakra, like I said, because everything I craved was physical. I was stuck on being somebody or seeing everybody else be something, but trying to compare myself to others, you know? And that's what fucked me up, man, trying to compare my life with other people. You don't want to do that. I say that because no matter how you compare yourself to somebody, they can't do nothing for you. They're here to inspire you. They're here to show you that it's possible. They're here to remind you that everything that I want, I can get as long as I be consistent like them. You know? That's why people who are somebody, you know, they're recognized or they have a name going or they're someone who's mildly admired because, well, everybody was, you know, sticking to goofy shit. They was working, they kept working, and they stayed working because they found love doing that, family, you know? And that's what you want to be, family. You want to be someone who loves what they do. I love being a YouTuber because I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a public speaker, man. And I see myself driving every fucking car in the world. I see myself traveling everywhere. I see myself as already $1 billion because that's how I feel in this moment. So if I feel like $1 billion, I will have that. You can laugh or you can, you know, agree with yourself because if you see yourself in me or you see your spirit as someone trying to increase and elevate, well, you will be a billionaire too. You know, all my people who watch me will be billionaires because if you are looking up to me, y'all, to be somebody, well, then that makes you want to become somebody as well. So you will touch $1 billion if you watch me. You know, I know if you're watching me, you're someone that ain't gonna lag because you're watching me to learn, to, you know, gain awareness, to become someone that's gonna attract everything with their own magnetism. You know, like I say, Scorpion, get over here. You know, you're gonna push it all to you because in that hell that you burned in, you learn how to be there by yourself, man. You know? So remember this. Everything is possible. Don't ever say it isn't because that's a spell you put over yourself, man. You must tell yourself that you are loved. I am a bright light. I am somebody who's, you know, to be remembered. I am honored because I honor myself, man. You know? And I don't care how people look at me, you know? Because I know that if I was to go out right now, I'm going to attract 1 billion motherfuckers in my vicinity because of that aura that I have, you know? It's just like you know, literally, y'all, someone that cannot be forgettable because how you make someone else feel. Either you gonna make them love you or you gonna make them dislove you. But that's them. You're not here to live for somebody else. You're here to live to become somebody that's remembered, to become the first billionaire in your fucking family. That's how you do it. Because people can't help you. They could, you know, inspire you, but they can't give you $1 billion. It wouldn't even feel right for them to give you that because you didn't do shit for it. You're not working hard enough. You're not doing what you want to do, you know? And that's what I'm trying to get at, family. You know, you might not like making videos, but you will eventually love it when you keep going, because I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. It just, I know that it was gonna take a wheel of fire to get where I want to go. This is my wheel of fire, you know. Itachi had his wheel of fire. Now this is my wheel of fire, man. So trust me when I say this, I will go until, you know, I'm going like Itachi, because, you know, as someone like him, man, who suffered in silence, who it took, you know, every amount of shredded emotion he must, you know, he must push it away. He still got it done because he loved his brother so much to where he was died for his brother. Think about it. Itachi sees life how I see it, because he knew that, you know, my time here has been fulfilled. I lived enough. You know, Sasuke's my younger brother, so I'm gonna, you know, do what I must to make sure he becomes stronger than me, than the whole clan, than every person that's near him, because if he's the last one left, he's the one that can get stronger, and he has a reason to be stronger for that, you know? And that's how you win in this life. Because you can't be strong if you don't have nothing to give you that strength, you know? Those are my idols, man. Sasuke, Itachi, Madara, you know, the whole Uchiha, because I consider myself as an Uchiha. And Uchiha is someone who has been through pain, who has been through that fire, and was forced to live in it, you know? Everybody can't be in that fire because it burns their asses. So they're stuck out here, and those are in temporary, you know, facades, or just things that are going to give them dopamine rush. You know what? I am going to stay right here, and I'm going to burn with my brothers. I'm going to live in that fire with them, because that's how I unlock my Rinnegan, you know? And to unlock that, like I say, to warp through time and space, and to be able to create these portals, and to have that Susanoo or Susanoo, you gotta keep going, family. Do whatever it is you are trying to fulfill, man. You know? I am, you know, that what they are, because I'm someone who can relate to that story well, you know? As someone who had a sad storyline or a backstory that I can give y'all, which I'm not, because, you know, I'm here to remind you that through pain that I have adversity through, you can too, if you have been through pain. Not everybody has, and that's why they can't relate to these videos, or that's just why they can't feel you, because in the shoes that you walk, they haven't been through it, you know? So, you know, as I sit here and I think, man, I'm just like, I'm happy I was given this, but at the same time, it hardens you like a rock, or like the shit that erupts from a volcano, and it's just there, straight iron, because, you know, the volcano didn't erupt for no reason. It erupted because it was temporarily, it kept being, you know, picked on, you know, and it finally fucking exploded, man, you know. And everybody who was picking on it, like I said, they faded away, because the tectonic plates eventually, you know, and that shit, you know, Pompeii started to arrive. But, you know, this is my story, family, and I relate to the ones that have, you know, been through something, because pain is here to remind you that I have a reason to keep going, despite what people say, or they might not even know me fully, but they'll know me because of the energy that I'm giving off to the planet, man. I'm not here to, you know, be here temporarily, no. Because I see some YouTubers, y'all, who have a big ass confidence in them. But like I say, confidence is not everything. Confidence is to remind yourself that you're here to do it because you believe in it. You're standing on it because it's yours. But what gets you there is discipline. You must be a disciplined person. You must be straight up with that, because discipline is going to give you everything you want. Because even if I feel sick tomorrow, I still give y'all a video. Even if I feel like I can't walk, I walk my ass up straight posture to come in here to give you a video. No matter what it takes, as long as you hear this message, because that's what it is. That's what it means to inspire somebody, family. That's what it means. Never give up. You know, John Cena said that shit, man. You know, y'all might like him or y'all might not, because he was somebody who never gave up, you know. So you need to relate, or you know, you'll become unrelated too. But you know, it's a sunny day outside, man. So if you feel down, go take a walk, man. If you feel like you can't do nothing, man, work out. If you're just stuck right now and you don't know where to begin, well, like I say, it starts with your energy, man. Your energy is probably stagnant. You probably don't have no electric flow flowing through you because you've been giving your shit to somebody else or just things around you, man. You know? And, you know, if you're a woman who's watching me, man, well, I give my high hats off to you. Or, you know, I'm happy you are watching me, because you might not have a man in your life. You know, you might not have someone to lead you down the road of just self-sufficiency. And that's what it means to become somebody. You know, women, I honestly feel for them the most, because women can't protect themselves like us, man. You know, if there's thirsty motherfuckers out here trying to, you know, grab a hold onto them, or they're just trying to, you know, say you're out late at night and you're just trying to go put gas, well, you don't want to have to worry about thirsty motherfuckers watching you and probably plotting on trying to take you, because that's how most men are in this world. You know, you could believe that or not, but if you're someone who has not conquered your beast, well, that beast is going to control you. And that's what the devil is. That's what it means to be someone that is bitch made, because like I say, you're acting on your fleshly desires, man, when you're not the flesh simply, but the spirit. And you know, you're gonna keep coming back and back and back to this motherfucking planet, no matter if you die or not, because you haven't learned how to love self, man. And that's what I'm trying to show y'all. You know, the energy that I have, you know, if I was to transcend, I'm gonna go straight to heaven, straight to the home planet I came from, because I will never stop. You know, I have the energy to get me through the firmament, and that's how you win. You know, I'm gonna take off like a fucking shooting star. Boom. And that's how you win, family. Because you can't stop everything that's happening, but you can simply live, be yourself, and own up to your problems, man. Most people can't do that. Most people live with a bandage over their eyes because they're covering their problems, or they're just someone that's not trying to face them, you know? And I honestly feel for them the most, because if you're stuck doing something for others, or you're just focused on pleasure, y'all, well, life is gonna show you what you are giving life, man. Because life is like a magical force, man. What you want, you gotta work for, man. You know, say you know you're an ugly male, or you say you're ugly. Well, that's probably because, you know, you don't have a glow yet. You can get the glow even if you're ugly or not. If you're fat, man, go to the gym, work out, man. You know, you must want to work out, though. You know, you can't just listen to me because I'm telling you to. You must want to work out because you want to be someone that's going to be someone that's like, yeah. You know, if you're someone that looks in the mirror and you're just like this, just straight flexing, you know, showing yourself, well, that's because you earned that. You earned everything you're doing because you worked your ass off for it, family. You know? And that's what it means to be somebody. To step over obstacles, you know? and to remind myself that that shit don't define me. What truly does is the work I put in, the action I take, and just reminding myself that I'm a win no matter how you feel, no matter if you don't fuck with these videos, no matter if you do, well, you're gonna win too, because if you're watching what I'm doing, well, I'm inspiring you to take the same route as me. Like I say, meditate in that darkness, man, and build your energy up, because when you gain awareness, no one else can take that away from you, because they don't even have it, you know? They won't see life like you, because God didn't make them that way. He made them go through certain things, and we're hoping one day the spark ignites, but you can't do that. Let God do that for them, you know? The only thing you came down here to do, y'all, is to fulfill your role, you know? Stack and move in silence, man. And when you have that $1 billion, like I say, flex it on their asses. Show them what they missed out on, and still live in silence, because that's what we came down here to do. You don't come down here to compete with people. You come down here to win. You come down here to move alone and along the line, you know? That's how you win. I'm gonna win. Y'all might not, but I will win, because I already see myself with it all. You know, I see myself with everything that I'm destined to see, because God is seeing that, oh, my son is taking action. He must want it bad enough. You know, the days he might not want to come in here and do these videos, I pick up that phone call and I'm like, yeah, God, you know I'm coming at you with this shit, and I won't stop until, you know, they get me up this fucking realm, because, like I say, I have no fear. Fear doesn't exist within me unless I put flesh in my body for that temporary moment, you know? But even if you're someone who's practicing martial arts, man, work out your body, man. Heal yourself. Because to gain power is to know who you are when no one else does, you know? That's why I like working out, because I get that blood to every part of my body that it needs to go to, you know? So I'm confident that anybody who tries me or tries to get at me, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you and survive with myself, man. Because so should you. So you should be seeing yourself just like that, man. You know? It's the belief in self, though. You know? Most people won't try you on this journey, though, because they can already feel your presence, you know? Because, like I say, your aura is seeped out of your body, man. And this aura that you have, y'all, you're not just finna give it to nobody. You're finna give it to someone who truly admires you. Someone who truly sees you for your flaws and for your, you know, your weaknesses. But also the times you have won. And someone that's gonna keep motivating you to keep going, man. You know, most people don't get that in life, y'all. They ain't finna tell you to keep going. Or they're not finna tell you, oh, strive, because I believe in you. But I've had that. I've had people tell me that before. So if I was to stop right now, well, I let myself down, and the shit that they told me it becomes meaningless. I'm gonna win. I wanna win. And the only way to win, y'all, is to show up every single day. You know? That's just a cold-hearted truth that not everybody wants to accept, man. But consistency is everything, you know? And that's why I keep telling y'all this. Because it's not going to take one day. It's not going to take a week. And it's for sure not going to take a month, man. You must fall in love with it, with whatever you are doing, before you sprout like a tree with it, you know? And that's why people, you know, comment on my videos, or they share them, or like I say, I'm someone that sticks in their brain as, you know, a walking legend, because I'm alive, so I'm a legend. And when I die, or when I transcend the realm, I'll become legendary, you know? No matter who I am, no matter what I am, or no matter what they tell me, I don't stop, because I'm not worried about who sees this video. I don't care who you are, you know? I know myself, and I know that either you're gonna love me or you're not, because you're jealous the light I have. Not knowing that you can gain this light if you take time to love you. But that's something that everybody don't want to do, because the word love eagers, or it agitates them, because like I said, I'm uppercutting that fucking ego they have. And I'm trying to uppercut every ego that comes my way or watches these videos, because you become stronger once you learn to love your ego. Once you learn to have, you know, a relationship with it. But, you know, Itachi, man, you know, I like talking about him because everybody don't like him. They don't fuck with him. Not because he was, you know, looked at as someone with not enough power, but he defeated your ass with his mind, you know. He defeated a Renegon user with his fucking mind, you know. And most people can't fathom that shit, you know. Yes, he had fought Nagato, but he knew that he couldn't compete with him power-wise. But if he had a mind that was sharp, well, shit, no matter how strong you are, if you don't have that proper, you know, swivel above your shoulders, you can never win a fight, you know. And Itachi was sick, man. You know, we never got to see him at his highest potential, man. But I'm telling you right now, if he was never sick, y'all, he would be the strongest in that fucking, you know, that leaf. Because his brain, you know, he was wise. He was truly intelligent, man. You know, that's why he was missed. That's why Sasuke, when he found out the truth, he didn't want Itachi to go. He wanted him to live in that reanimated corpse just so he could hear and speak and live with his brother, man. Because he was lied to. You know, he didn't really know what was going on. And it really hurt Sasuke, man. You know, it really made him want to seek vengeance on everybody. And that's why I say, man, y'all think he was crazy, but y'all don't even know him. Y'all don't really know how he felt in that moment. The backstory was too much for them, you know? And I feel Sasuke deeply on that one, because if I had an older brother that was, you know, risking himself and sacrificing everybody just for me so I can become stronger, I wouldn't hate him. I would love him even more, because he died literally for him. Because Itachi knew that he was gonna die, you know? He knew that he was sick already. He knew that this is the only way. It's either this or it's nothing, because let's just say his family was still here. Let's just say that, you know, he had only lost his brother. Well, he was still relying on others around him for power. Well, that's not the way, man. You become powerful when you learn to do it on your own. And that's just, you know, logic, family. That's something everybody should know, but not everybody will know, because they rely on what people tell them, which is compliments. They rely on people's perspectives. Well, not me, you know. I will never rely on nobody, because relying on others is like a pond. You know, Aizen had said, you know, for all the people who followed me, I have never ever told them to put their faith or trust in me. So never trust me, family. But, you know, hear this with heed and know that you must lead. Because if I'm leading you, well, you must become the person that leads now. Because a leader's only going to inspire someone to become a leader. And that's what it means to lead, family, you know. So for the people who looked at Itachi like, man, he wasn't strong. But he could beat you though, man. Because of the shit he knew, you know. Think about it. When he was fighting Kakashi, y'all, he took on Kakashi like nothing, you know. Kakashi is strong as fuck, man. You know, he's really strong. He had that Sharingan. He was really strong. But Itachi just knew who he was, man. Because like I say, in that silence, all he did was go within, straight knowing himself, man. All he did was stick to what he knew. And that alone gives you power, man. You know, no fucking Jonin or just nobody in that village could talk or you know, make him feel like he didn't know who he was, because he already knew, you know. And for the people that say Sasuke beat him in that fight, man, what killed Itachi was, like I say, his sickness, man. His sickness. He couldn't be killed, man. He was too fucking strong. His mind is what led him to victory every time, you know. And you know, that's what it means to be someone truly, y'all. To not lack, you know, fear in your potential, man. Or to believe in your skills, man. That's what he was trying to show Sasuke, you know, when Sasuke thought he had killed him so easily, you know. But I hope that someone has, you know, Sasuke is the strongest now because he's the only Uchiha alive besides, you know, his own. But, you know, like I say, believe what y'all want. Just know that them motherfuckers was strong, man. They were strong as shit, and that's why, they had to be taken out, man. Just like the ones here that are too strong or too, too much with power in the way to where they inspire others, man. They gotta be taken out, man, because they become Uchihas and with power, man, who can just lead with words, man. I ain't, throwing a fist. I ain't, robbing or stealing or shooting. I'm simply being myself, humbly, but speaking from what I know, because of what I've seen, That's truly what it means to be someone with this power, with this proficiency, and with this energy, man. Family? But this is the video, family. And the video was consistency is everything. Procrastination is only going to get you so far, but I don't compare myself to others, man. I'm going to be happy for you because I know who you are within, even if you don't go within. Because if you don't go within, well, like I say, you're simply like a plug in the outlet cord, but it has shit over it, so it can't breathe right. And that's just what it is, family. You will never become or reach your full potential without meditation, because you're not seeking internal power, man. You're living too much without. But yeah, family, if y'all heard and y'all took in this video deep, man, for all the women who watch me, man, I'm only here to inspire y'all too, man, because once you live with no fear, y'all, well, the motherfuckers that probably are in fear trying to fuck with you, they won't even be able to get around your aura or your presence, because you cause them to become intimidated, man, just with your energy alone. And you will be able to go anywhere you want to, no matter if people are looking at you like they're trying to do something to you, man. Build up your presence, man. Have an aura that signifies you, man. And watch, everybody around you that's thirsty, they crumble or they can't get near you, because your force field is gonna pull them motherfuckers away, And that's the only thing I can tell you, family, because a man is always most likely gonna be stronger than a woman, regardless. So you gotta have that energy to protect you, man. You gotta have what God's given you, so you won't become so easily taken advantage of or taken hostage, family. But I'm just here to remind you that it can be done, though. Everything that you see can be fulfilled, man, as long as you stick to your mission. But I come out, man. I sign out with peace. Simply peace, like Madara, man. And that's why I'm putting this whole world under an infinite Tsukuyomi with the shit I push out, because what Madara couldn't achieve, I will achieve it for him. Because that's truly what he wanted. He only died to plot, man. He could have never died. He would have never fucking died, man. And that's how strong that bloodline they have is, man. He would have never fucking died if it wasn't for the storyline. He would have never died. But to each is their own, family. I'm gonna keep winning, and the people who watch me are gonna eventually win, because y'all are gonna take action on your life, man. Action is what creates resolve, man. But I'll see y'all, man. 100.